affect all of us, and it's a trap for the unwary that people may not be aware of.
Oh,
And this law went into effect on January 1st, and we're all required to buy a PIP insurance. That's the only insurance we're required to buy, but the state requires us to buy $10,000 in personal injury protection insurance to cover the theory being that irrespective of fault, we're a no-fault state, that you get a portion of your medical bills, 80% and 60% of your lost wages paid under your own coverage that you pay for, even if the other guy causes the accident. And this has been in effect now since the early 1980s. And our legislature, in its wisdom or lack thereof, has now tinkered with it substantially. And you're still required, every one of us is required to buy this insurance. But now, if you don't present for medical treatment within 14 days of an automobile accident, you have forfeited your right to your no-fault insurance, even though you bought it, you paid for it. If you don't get examined within 14 days, you forfeit your right to that PIP coverage totally. And if you have suffered what's deemed by the insurance company to be a non-emergent type, non-serious type injury, you're only going to be entitled to $2,500 of the coverage. This is a huge problem because people don't, first of all, people are generally unaware that this is the law now. And I represent people injured in automobile accidents. And when there's not broken bones and shattered bones, a lot of the injuries that people suffer in automobile accidents are what we refer to as soft tissue injuries. They're ligamentous, internal ligaments, tendons, and people get shaken up in an automobile accident and they hurt. And with good reason in the past, they've said, well, I'm going to wait. I think I'll get better. I'm not going to go to see the doctor right away. I'm not going to go to the emergency room.
I got things I got to do.
I've got things I got to do. In a couple weeks, if this doesn't go away, then I'll go see a doctor. And that was understandable under the circumstances. And
2 weeks now.
Many times, I've represented people who have gone to see the doctor, a month after the automobile accident, or even 6 weeks after, when what they thought was going to resolve and what they thought was going to go away hasn't. Well, there was no prejudice to them in the past because then the insurance company would begin paying those bills under the PIP or no-fault coverage. Well, now there's total prejudice. You can't wait. And if you do wait more than 14 days, I heard you use the word bupkis this morning. That's a good word. You're going to get bupkis under your no-fault coverage. And you can't. There's only certain medical providers you can go to. By the way, you can't go to. You've got to be careful who you go to see to protect your coverage. You can see, of course, you can go to an emergency room. You can go to a medical doctor. You can go to a dentist if it's a tooth type or a mouth type, oral type injury, and you can still go to an osteopath and a chiropractor, and all of them can be appropriate persons to visit for that initial visit.
A walk-in clinic.
Yes, that would qualify because there's going to be either physicians there, Jeff. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Either physicians there or nurse practitioners, and they qualify as well. Massage therapy, no. And some people used to go, well, I'll go get a couple of massages initially and see.
Work it out.
That doesn't work. Acupuncture is not qualified.
Well, hang on. It'll work if it's been prescribed by a chiropractor.
Oh, if you start there, good point. But
yeah.
you can't start there. You've got to start with one of these recognized specialties. And so it's as I said, it's a trap for the unwary. And there's going to be a lot of people, Jeff, that despite me talking about this, despite the publicity in the newspaper, are gonna. It's not gonna really register. They're gonna in good faith say, well, gee whiz, I don't want to go to I'm hurting, but I don't want to go to the emergency room. I don't want to see the doctor. Let's see if this gets better. And if they wait 14 days, they're out of luck. And then of course, as I said, there's a provision in this new law that if it's a non-quote serious injury, you only get $2,500. I'm going to talk about that when we come back after the break.
And of course, the 14 days corresponds with the number of people that are listening this morning.
Well, I hope that's